I call to order this special meeting of the Township Committee of the Township of Morris this Wednesday, November 12th, 2025. The time is now 6:30. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, and adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required by law. Specifically, notice of this meeting has been mailed to the Daily Record and the Morris Newsbee on November 3rd, posted on the Township of Morris website, and posted on the bulletin board outside the clerk's office. The agenda and resolutions for the meeting are available at morristwp.com under Agenda Center. Certain portions of this meeting may be closed to the public for the purpose of personnel and/or other matters as outlined in the Sunshine Law. Notice to members of the governing body and township staff, any use of electronic devices during this meeting shall be used solely for the purposes of township business, and any communication is subject to the Open Public Records Act. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Mr. Grayzel?
Yes.
Mr. Gyorfy?
Here.
Mr. Jonnada?
Here.
Mr. Ravitz?
Present.
Mayor Guariglia?
Here. Tonight, we have one resolution on the agenda. This resolution authorizes the Township ABC Council to execute a settlement agreement with Rock Bottom Entertainment LLC, doing business at Fringe Gentleman's Lounge, holder of plenary retail consumption license number 1422-33-002-012. Madam Clerk, please read the title of Resolution 237-25 into the record.
Resolution 237-25. Resolution authorizing the ABC prosecutor to execute a settlement agreement with Rock Bottom Entertainment LLC, trading as Fringe Gentleman's Lounge, Township of Morris, Morris County, New Jersey, Morris ABC Board.
I will now turn the discussion over to our attorney, Julieka Tomeo, to provide details regarding the settlement and answer any questions.
I believe that my partner, Daniel Antonelli,
You're on.
was here, and this committee had the opportunity to review the settlement agreement. So unless you have any questions at this time about the settlement, I believe it's straightforward, but I'm happy to answer any specific questions.
Does anybody have any questions or comments?
Do we want to go over some of the highlights or just?
Well, we can go over the highlights. So the license C was issued for violations or notices of violation for incidents that allegedly occurred on March 25th, 2023, September 1st, 2023, September 15th, 2023, September 16th, 2023, September 23rd, October 29th, 2023, January 1st, January 6th, February 17th, and February 24th, 2024. The charges were listed as Exhibit 8 in the agreement. You can see them by date of the violations, and there's several violations on most of them. In order to resolve the issues, we believe that it is in the best interest of township to enter into the settlement agreement with the licensee. That way, the issues that are addressed, for example, their violations regarding nuisance and the need for police intervention, and the licensee agrees to certain conditions pursuant to the agreement. For example, the no go-go dancing, exotic dancing, or live entertainment on the premises going forward. This prohibition is included to the employment and engagement of dancers or performance who appear to in attire or engage in conduct inconsistent with the standards of decency. And so there's different provisions to address the issues that have been raised, but there are multiple violations.
Mm-hmm.
So the agreement is comprehensive as to all the violations that were listed for that period of time. So it covers 2023 and 2024.
Thank you.
If there are no other questions or comments, can I have a motion to approve resolution number 237-25?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote for resolution 237-25?
Mr. Grayzel,
Yes.
Mr. Jonnada,
Yes.
Mr. Gyorfy,
Yes.
Mr. Ravitz.
Yes.
Mayor Guariglia.
Yes. Resolution 237-25 is hereby adopted. This concludes the ABC portion of tonight's meeting. Thank you. There's nobody on Zoom and nobody here from the public,
I
so,
will still open it. and
Open, okay.
close it.
Yeah.
okay. Currently, there are not any members of the public joining us, either on Zoom or here in person, but we will open the meeting to public comment. We'll take comments from in person.
We're listening.
Mayor, I move that we open public comment.
Okay. Is there a
Good
second?
save. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor, I move that we close public commentary.
Second.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
It is now 6:35. Can I have a motion to adjourn the special ABC meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The regular Township Committee meeting will begin at 7 PM following this ABC hearing at the Municipal Building at 50 Woodland Avenue. Thank you. I call to order this regular meeting of the Township Committee of the Township of Morris this Wednesday, November 12th, 2025. The time is now 7 o'clock PM. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, and adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required by law. Specifically, notice of this meeting was emailed to the Daily Record and the Morris News-Bee on January 3rd, 2025, and posted on the Township of Morris website. The agenda and resolutions for the meeting are available on morristwp.com under the Agenda Center. Certain portions of this meeting may be closed to the public for the purpose of personnel and/or other matters as outlined in the Sunshine Law. Notice to members of the governing body and township staff, any use of electronic devices during this meeting shall be used solely for the purposes of township business, and any communications are subject to the Open Public Records Act. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Mr. Grayzel,
Here.
Mr. Gyorfy.
Here.
Mr. Ravitz,
Here.
Mr. Jonnada,
Here.
Mayor Guariglia.
Here, please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes from September 17th, 2025, the closed and regular session, and by one motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor, I was absent for the September meeting. Do I need to be
Yeah,
abstained from
Omar.
that vote? Thank you.
Thank you. Yesterday was Veterans Day, and the members of the committee spent the day laying wreaths and honoring our veterans. We do have one proclamation on our agenda this evening, recognizing November 11th, 2025 in honor of Veterans Day, and Committeeman Gyorfy will now present the proclamation and share his remarks.
Thank you, Mayor Guariglia. And thank you to all of our veterans for their selfless service to our country. And as Mayor Guariglia mentioned, we had our Veterans Day services yesterday at Town Hall, a second service on the green in Morristown, and we ran around town early in the morning with the veterans to lay wreaths at the memorials. And that's all thanks to the Memorial and Veterans Day Association of Morristown and Morris Township. As a community, we don't only owe our thanks and appreciation to our veteran community for their service, but also for their continued contributions to our town. Our veterans continue to improve the lives of those around us long after their time in the military ends. Specifically, we'd like to recognize the Memorial and Veterans Day Association and the American Legion Post 59 for their long time and continued work bringing our community veteran stories to life throughout the year. We are grateful that the association added Captain Brian McNally Field to their list of memorial stops to place wreaths at the morning of Veterans Day. It was a fitting tribute to Brian's legacy and humbling to share those moments with Brian's parents, their neighbors, and their friends. Further, we'd like to thank those who have made Morris Township the great place that it is to live today, from our veteran employees at our DPW and our veteran law enforcement officers, to our veteran firefighters and volunteer board members, All veteran members of our township family have been foundational in making Morris Township the place it is today. Lastly, we are grateful for the partnership with Post 59 and Annalise Rush from the Administrator's Office for their hard work putting together our Hometown Heroes Veterans Banner program, which now displays the names and faces of close to 60 Morris Township veterans across our roadways here down by Town Hall. I am proud that this Township Committee continues to take the input from the community to recognize the services of those in uniform in many ways, like our veterans parking spaces at our public facilities and our partnership with the Veterans Valor Healing Garden project at Frelinghuysen Arboretum. We look forward to the projects and services that come next in the future. And on behalf of the township, again, thank you to all of our veterans out there for their service to our country. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Committeeman Gyorfy. There are currently 2 members of the public joining us via Zoom and 6 in person. At this time, we will open the meeting to public comment. We'll first take comments from the in-person attendees, and then we'll switch over to Zoom. Please raise your hand on Zoom if you would like to speak. Please state your name and if you are a resident or not. For the record, before speaking, please note that comments are limited to 5 minutes per speaker. If you have questions that you would like answered, your remaining time to speak will be yielded back for this person. Is there a motion to open public comment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is there anyone here in person who would like to go to the podium?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jennifer Nielsen. I'm in town at 17 Egbert Avenue. I was here last month to advocate for the Climate Superfund Act and its benefits to the municipality for covering some of the costs that are going to be coming for climate damages. I realize that time is short to pass the resolution by the committee, but rather than clog your emails again with another reminder, I just thought I'd come in person and say that we would really welcome signatures on the letter to the governor and the legislature from each member. We have seen Mr. Jonnada's signature, just expressing support for this legislation to be passed this year. It's so close to the finish line. We'd like to get it done. So I'm happy to have answer any questions if anyone has.
Anybody have any questions?
I think that all of us up here are going to be in support of it, and I think it's going to be on next month's agenda.
Okay, wonderful. And it's a very quick signature on the letter. It's on online link in your email box somewhere. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm filling it out now.
Hello.
Hello, good evening, and thank you for your service. It's good to see you again. I'm Sally Muscarella from 11 Eagle Nest Road. I've been a resident of the township since 1989. And I'm here tonight to continue our discussion on food composting. You'll recall that I spoke at this podium on August 20th at the Township Committee meeting. We discussed the substantial environmental, health, and economic benefits of food composting. In fact, in Hoboken, the cost per ton of landfill waste is 5 times more than the cost of compost waste. I've shared those details with the mayor and with Siva and Jeff, and Mayor Guariglia encouraged us to continue to work on this program. So thank you. The issues that were raised in the last Township Committee meeting, I believe, have been resolved, so I'll briefly recap. The issues were state regulations, bugs, and we're not proposing any open food composting sites. We're proposing a drop-off food composting program using well-established third-party service providers who give us a secure, closed compost container and regular pickup. That's similar to what many of our neighboring towns are doing. Some towns that are early in the process use this drop-off approach, and then towns that get further along the process do their own composting. In terms of next steps, the Environmental Commission can pursue grants to cover the costs of the program, and they can also identify program participants using a survey. Most important, we need your support for the program and to have 2 locations so that we can serve residents at both ends of both sides of the town. Of course, one location can be the DPW location. It was wonderful to see this room overflowing with citizens interested in the environment at the recent Sustainable Landscaping meeting held by the Environmental Commission. It's clear that township residents really care about our environment. As I've mentioned before, 95 towns in New Jersey have some form of food composting. The leaders are Princeton, Hoboken, and Jersey City, who have extensive programs. Our goal is that yard waste and food waste can and should far exceed what we put in landfills. That is definitely achievable. We're ways from that, but that is the long-term goal. So my first question is, are there any remaining issues from the Township Committee on the food composting program?
And I don't want to, Committeeman Jonnada, I don't want to put you on the spot, but he was just communicating again today with many of us. So
Thank you.
we're having those conversations, and he got back some information back to us.
Yep, it's a work in progress, let's say.
Okay. So no issues, just moving forward.
If issues come, we'll reach out.
So what I wanted to ask is it possible to, commit to a time frame to get this going? Because I know it's been going for a while. I know Brian Morgan on the Environmental Commission is so capable. And, maybe if a meeting could be arranged, if there are any remaining issues, I don't know what the holdups are. As I said, I was here in August and it's November.
I would say that we are continuing, and like I said just today, I think we're getting closer to where we will be able to make a decision on what we're doing.
Thank you.
I know that Committeeman Jonnada is, if that could be by year end, that would make him very happy.
And everybody else.
And Brian too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have such a talented Environmental Commission. It's a joy to see. Yeah. Okay, I appreciate your time and thank you for your support.
Sally, before you go,
Yes.
can you repeat that statistic, the cost statistic you shared in the very
Yes.
beginning?
5 times, so per ton, the cost is 5 times for landfill waste than it is for compost. And in Hoboken, they have to haul it out of the city. Some, even the composting, they're hauling out. So that's the cost per ton. It's $106, I think, per ton. Hoboken is paying for landfill waste, and they're paying $20 per ton for compost, for compostable, for food and yard waste.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yep. And those statistics, I know I've sent along, and I'd be happy if you need more
We appreciate
information.
that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else here in person?
Hi, I'm George Quillen from 9 Barberry Road in the township, and I just wanted to get up and congratulate Jeff Grayzel on his reelection to the Township Committee. Deputy Mayor Grayzel, congratulations. It was a blowout election. You seem to have won in every one of the 23 voting districts of Morris Township, according to what is posted on the website of the county clerk as of today. So I know some votes are still trickling in and still being counted, but it's a wonderful win for you, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, George.
So we see a lot of close elections across the state and across Morris County, but this one was not one of them. So congrats.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We agree, Mr. Quillen. Seeing no hands raised, is there a motion to close public comment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So next, we have our friends from the Southeast Morris County Municipal Utilities Authority here, and I'd like to invite up Executive Director Drew Saskowitz to the podium. Or-
Just need to, on the mic, there's a button there, just to make sure the green light comes on. There you go.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Drew Saskowitz, the Executive Director and Licensed Operating Director for Southeast Morris County Municipal Utilities Authority. First, I'd like to thank you all for inviting me here this evening to speak on behalf of the authority. My plan is to tell you a little bit about the authority, what we are, what we do, and then I'll review some of the recent capital projects that we've completed, that are ongoing, and what we have planned for the near future. So the Southeast Morris County Municipal Utilities Authority was formed in 1977 by the creating municipalities of Morristown, Morris Township, Township of Hanover, and the Borough of Morris Plains. We serve nearly 65,000 people every day, and we are Morris County's largest water purveyor. Our primary mission is to maintain, operate, and improve the potable water system and distribution system for the protection of public health and safety. Our system covers 60 square miles and contains over 380 miles of water main. The system is broken up into 8 different hydraulic gradients that range from 423 feet above sea level on the eastern side up to 1,000 feet above sea level on the northwest end. We have 6 booster stations, 4 letdown stations that move the water between the different pressure gradients. We have 10 wells that we use to treat. We have a surface water reservoir and treatment plant out in Mendham. We also purchase water at a wholesale rate from a couple different utilities. We purchase from Morris County MUA, which is a groundwater supply. And we also purchase, through an agreement with New Jersey American Water, water that is produced either at or a combination of Passaic Valley Water Commission and North Jersey District Water Supply. We have 15 storage tanks in our system for a total capacity of 15.5 million gallons of storage. We have about 1,800 fire hydrants in the system that require annual maintenance and flushing. We have about 4,300 valves in the system that, depending upon their size, require maintenance and operation every 2 to 4 years. And we have approximately 18,000 metered service connections in the system. Historically, we try to replace meters every 10 years, but we've since switched to a new Neptune smart meter with a 15 to 20-year lifetime span. I'll start reviewing some of the capital projects now. The larger capital projects that we do are water main replacements. In accordance with the Water Quality Accountability Act, we are to maintain a 150-year lifespan of water main. So at 380 miles of water main in our system, we have to replace between 2 to 3 miles every year to meet that. Some of the recent projects we've done, we replaced 9,000 feet this year on Stiles and some of the cross streets in Morris Plains, 4,200 feet on Glenbrook Road last year. We replaced 6,000 feet this year on Harder and Old Harder Road in the township. We replaced 4,800 feet in the Bradford Estates area recently. 900 feet on Langdon Lane in the township this year. And we installed an additional 220 feet on Ridgewood Road ahead of the township's paving schedule this year. We focus our main replacements based on areas that are known to contain lead or galvanized service materials, on areas that have a higher main break rate, and we try to work in conjunction with the municipalities to limit the impact on residents and our customers. Some of the upcoming main replacement projects, next year we're going to be replacing 4,800 feet on Gaston Road ahead of your schedule there. We're going to be replacing Pine Boulevard, Oak Boulevard, and Pleasant Ave in Hanover next year. In 2027, we plan to replace the main on Treetop, Knox Hill Road, and one other road near Treetop in the township next year, or in 2027, I'm sorry. In 2028, we'll be replacing water main on Fairview Ave in Hanover. We plan to replace or install new water main on Anthony Wayne Road and Ravenswood Lane to eliminate a couple of dead ends and to supply additional water and pressure to the southwest section of our system. In 2029, we'll be moving to Mount Kimball Ave, which spans Morristown and Morris Township. Mount Kimball Ave is known to have a lot of galvanized service connections. Some of our other large capital projects are tank improvement projects. So in the last couple of years, we've rehabilitated 5 of the 15 storage tanks, 4 of which have been in Morris Township. We completed the 2 Joneswood tanks this year. The year before, we rehabbed one of the Picatinny storage tanks and the Easley storage tank for a combined storage capacity of 7.3 million in Morris Township. Next year, we plan to rehabilitate the 2 tanks on Skyline Drive, also in Morris Township. And in conjunction with these tank improvement projects, we are doing a lot of work at our booster stations prior to the work at the tanks. So for the Jones Wood tanks, we installed 2 new pumps and 2 new variable frequency drives at our Picatinny booster station ahead of that project. This year, we completed the installation of 2 new pumps and 2 new variable frequency drives at our Shongum booster station in preparation for our Highland Woods tank project coming up in 2027. We have also recently upgraded our Malapartis booster station and plan to upgrade our Mountain Ave booster station in 2027. By far and away, the largest capital project that we're going to be investing in is our treatment facilities. So currently, we are in compliance with all federal and New Jersey DEP regulations for primary contaminants. New Jersey was one of the first states to institute maximum contaminant limits for perm and polyfluoroalkyl substances, more commonly referred to as PFAS. And we are in compliance with the New Jersey MCLs. In 2024, the EPA released a reduced maximum contaminant limit for these perfluorinated compounds and a few others. The limits that they set for these are 4 parts per trillion. So the equivalent, something that the common person could relate that to, 4 parts per trillion is the equivalent of 4 seconds in 32,000 years. That's the level at which we have to treat to. So we are estimating $40 million in the next 6 years in treatment facilities to treat for these PFAS contaminants. That does not include the operation and maintenance that will be ongoing thereafter. Some other capital projects for fire hydrants. This year, we will be purchasing special operating nuts to reduce tampering of our hydrants, to decrease the theft of water in our system and the unnecessary discoloration events that happen when people illegally open the hydrants. So this year we'll be buying for approximately half of the hydrants in our system, and next year we'll be buying these special operating nuts that prevent tampering for the other half. We'll also be providing fire departments with these special operating wrenches to operate the hydrants. We have been focusing on meter replacements. So this year to date, we have replaced over 3,500 of the smaller residential meters in our system. The reason for focusing on meter replacements is, 1, because they're older and we're switching to the new meters, but also it provides us an opportunity to get into customers' homes and identify what their service line materials are. In conjunction with that, we've also been focusing on identifying service line materials. So if we can kill two birds with one stone, get in there and change the meter, we're doing that. If the meter doesn't need to be replaced, we're getting in there and identifying on the customer side. This year, in the last 12 months, we have identified 5,521 customer side service lines. I can tell you the system as a whole right now has 7,827 lines identified on the customer side as not containing lead or galvanized materials. There are, as a system, 606 homes identified as containing galvanized materials and an additional 10 homes as containing lead materials. As of today, there are still 11,015 homes that are unidentified on the customer side. So if we continue at the rate that we have in the last year, 5,500 services identified, hopefully by the end of 2027, we'll be pretty close, if not finished, with identifying the service lines on the customer side. That's as a system. I'll tell you the numbers for Morris Township because you're probably more interested in that. So Morris Township has 3,454 homes identified as not containing lead or galvanized materials. There are currently 190 homes identified as containing galvanized materials and 5 homes as containing lead. There are 4,124 homes in the township that still need the customer side identified. As far as lead service line replacements, in the last 2 years, we've added a contract. It 3 weeks ago changed from John Garcia Construction to Griggs Plumbing for the replacement of customer side service lines. So customers wishing to replace their service lines notify us that they would like our contractor to give them a quote. We put them in touch with our contractor, and they then have the option to go with our contractor or obtain their own quotes and get their own contractor to perform the work. When they decide to use our contractor, they have 2 options. One, they pay the estimated cost up front, and the work is performed in SMCMUA, issues the check then to the contractor. Or 2, if they can't afford to pay for it all up front, they have the option to have the cost split over their next 4 quarterly water bills. I can tell you in the year plus of having a contractor on board with us, so far there has only been 1 customer that did decide to use our contractor to perform the services. They did pay for the entire cost upfront, and the was then reimbursed the cost that was an allowance, a 10% allowance for the cost that the customer was then reimbursed afterwards. We have had, outside of that 1 customer, as of today, 67 customers that were identified as having lead or galvanized materials did go out, find their own contractor, and have it replaced. 28 of those 67 were from Morris Township. We also have a contract. This is the first year of the contract. We call it the test pitting contract, where a contractor goes and excavates the curb stop to identify both the SMCMUA owned portion and the customer owned portion at the same time. That contract is underway right now. I have budgeted for to continue that contract for the next 4 years as well. And as of next week's board meeting, if approved, we plan on purchasing some of the equipment in-house to have our staff perform those test pits at the curb stops as well. I can open it up there for any questions if you have any.
Sure, I'll open it up, and thank you. I have one quick question. Do you know what's the average cost been for the replacement? Do you know?
So yeah,
I know some properties are different, but I'm just curious.
The average cost is between $8,000 to $12,000 based upon the length of the service line.
Right. Okay. Any questions from any of the committee members? Committeeman
Thanks,
Gyorfy.
Mayor. Thank you, Drew. I will say, at least through my experience with the fire department, our like the water mains, the pressure in the township and the hydrant service is phenomenal. Like I'm a pump operator in the fire department. You're trained on how to pump when there's low pressure. We never have low pressure. We never have to worry about that. So thank you to SMCMUA for expanding the hydrant capacity in the township everywhere. You guys have always been responsive to our fire headquarters. I know when we have issues, and you've replaced hydrants when needed. So thank you for your attention to that. But yeah, the SMCMUA's done a tremendous job with the hydrant services and making sure our firefighters have the pressure they need to fight fires effectively. I did have a question. Can you tell us which neighborhoods exactly where the galvanized pipes are identified and where the 5 lead service lines were identified, or at least the parts of the township?
I can tell you probably the biggest area where lead and galvanized have been identified in the township is over near Morris Plains off of West Hanover Ave in that section of township.
Fairchild?
Yeah, off of Fairchild.
That's where the lead is?
Yeah, that's the biggest pocket of lead and galvanized identified in the township thus far.
And then probably Mount Campbell too.
Yeah, Mount Campbell too. Yeah, there's definitely, yeah.
Okay. And then could you just repeat the contractor you were using to offer?
Sure. Right now we're using Griggs Plumbing.
Griggs. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Any others?
Just a quick question.
Committeeman Ravitz, and then
Thank you, Mr. Saskowitz. That was a very informative report. I just have one comment on something you had mentioned. The average cost of replacing a galvanized or lead pipe from the curb to the home, $8,000 to $12,000, depending on the length of the run. And you mentioned that if a homeowner can't afford, because that's a big bill, and if a homeowner can't afford it, that you will spread, let's say, $8,000 over 4 quarterly payments. That's still a significant amount of money. Just letting you know that a lot of people aren't going to be able to afford that, especially in these trying economic times. Just wanted to make that comment that it might be something you want to look at to spread out those payments a little bit further.
That is true. If I may, something I tell customers, because most of the customers that are requesting quotes, I'm dealing with directly. I'll start with, from the inception of the lead and copper rule in 1992, Southeast Marsh County has been in compliance with lead. Compliance for lead is based on what's called the 90th percentile. So the 90% of your samples have to be below 15 parts per billion to be in compliance with the lead law. I can tell you, initially, you go on what's called standard monitoring. For system average size, it includes 60 samples in January through June and another 60 samples from July through December. Systems that are in compliance for that initial round then can be reduced to reduced monitoring. Reduced monitoring means 30 samples a year for a system average size and only once a year. So we did that for many years on this reduced monitoring. And then in 2017, it was changed where every large utility went back to standard monitoring. We completed the standard monitoring again. Again, we were in compliance. We have been reduced to the annual 30 samples. When we sample for the lead compliance, we have to sample from homes that either have lead service lines, galvanized lines, or copper lines constructed before 1986 that have lead solder. So you're sampling with the worst case scenario for lead. For all of those homes, we also provide what's called the first draw, which is the compliance sample, and a flush sample. All of the flush sample results, which customers are instructed, run the water for a couple minutes till you feel it reaches a steady colder temperature. All of those samples, flush samples, are non-detect for lead. So I tell customers that can't necessarily afford, lead is an issue. It's a concern.
Of course.
But if you run the water for a few minutes till it reaches a steady colder temperature, you have eliminated your exposure to lead from the drinking water.
That's good information. Has that been made known to the public?
So we send that out on our annual notifications. We send that out when customers are identified as having lead or galvanized lines. They're provided the sample bottles, they're provided the flushing instructions, they're provided pitchers to remove lead and the filters for a 6-month supply to remove the lead. And then when we give the customers the results, again, we're telling the customers, run the water for a few minutes till it reaches steady colder temperature. You eliminate your exposure to lead.
Thank you. That was very informative.
Deputy Mayor Grayzel.
There's a follow-up question to that. If somebody uses a Brita type filter in their home, does that eliminate all of the risks? Or is there still something that gets through?
So any pitchers you use to remove lead have to be NSF 53 certified to remove lead. Then they also have to be replacing the filter cartridges as recommended by the manufacturer so that they're reducing the lead concentration to acceptable limits. So it's a matter of using the proper filters, which we provide when we identified lead and galvanized lines, and replacing the cartridges as recommended by the manufacturer.
So are the other standard Brita filters sufficient? Do you know?
I couldn't answer that unless you had a Brita filter that had the NSF 53 logo on it to remove lead, then yes, your Brita filter would remove
So that's what we need to look for.
Yes.
Okay. A few other questions related to the tanks and the huge amount of water that we have stored. How does that get circulated so that the water stays fresh?
Yes, that's a good question. So as I mentioned, we have 8 different pressure gradients. 7 of the pressure gradients have storage tanks. And the way we operate now is when the water in the tank reaches 2/3 of the total volume, the pumps or booster station for that gradient turn on and fill the tank. Then when before it reaches the overflow height, the pumps, the wells turn off, and then the tank will supply the gradient until 1/3 of the volume has been removed from the tank.
Okay, so it's never fully flushed.
They're not typically fully flushed. When we do tank maintenance, they're drained and cleaned and sandblasted on the inside and repainted. We are also going to be, or I'm going to be speaking to the board about a tank maintenance project that would have us every 2 to 3 years fully drain the tanks to inspect and clean the tanks every 2 to 3 years. We also have mixers installed in our tanks that help keep the water from settling in the tanks that would cause any buildup in the tanks.
Okay. My next question is related to supply. So you said it comes from within the district, it comes from surface water out in Mendham, right? Clyde Potts. Well water.
Right.
And is there anything else in district other than those 2 sources?
No, those would be typically, you only have 2 sources of water, groundwater or surface water.
And surface water. Yeah. And what percentage of the water usage in the district is from in district?
From in district. I would say on the average day, 75% is within district. We have a contract with New Jersey American Water to purchase water. The minimum in that contract is 2.4 million gallons a day that we have to purchase. The maximum would be 6 million gallons a day. So the source water pipeline that runs from Passaic Valley Water Commission all the way out to New Jersey American system in Short Hills, we actually own 24% of that. So that pipeline delivers 10 million gallons a day, us owning 24% of that pipeline. Our minimum requirement is 2.4 million gallons a day.
And is that treated water that goes through that pipeline,
Yes.
or we still have to treat it?
No, that's treated water.
That's treated water.
Yeah.
So how do you differentiate when the water's running through our system, the treated water that we need to treat in district with that water that's flowing in? How is it all mixed together?
So each of our wells and our surface water plant, all the treatment that is pulled from the ground or the reservoir is treated at site before it enters the distribution system.
Interesting. And you said there are 15 points of sourcing? Do I remember correctly?
No, 15 storage tanks.
15
We
storage
have
tanks.
10 wells and a surface water reservoir.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And are all those wells performing as they have historically? Are you getting reduced flow from any wells?
So over time, wells do produce less. That is also one of our capital projects is well redevelopment. This year, we rehabilitated our 2 Blackbrook wells. One of them is actually scheduled, I believe, next week to go back online, so I'll see what the pumping capacity is from that. But the first well that we did at Blackbrook actually restored it to beyond what we were even allocated or permitted to pull from that well.
Mm-hmm.
So every year, we're planning in the capital budget to rehabilitate 2 wells.
Okay.
To maintain our allocation, our permitted use from the wells.
Okay. I'll have to ask you offline. We won't get too technical about how you actually get more water out of a well, but that's super interesting.
More than what is permitted.
More than what's
Not
permitted.
necessarily more than the pump capacity, but more than what we're permitted to pull. We're permitted to pull 1,400 gallons a minute, which equates to 2 million gallons a day. We were pulling 1,700 gallons a minute. We had to reduce the pump speed so that we're pulling less water.
Yeah, because if you pull too much water, you risk the well collapsing, correct? Or the
You can-
aquifer collapsing.
Yes, yeah.
All right. Okay, because it has to maintain its own pressure internally.
Mhm.
Got it. Are you also looking at new wells, new sources of water?
So one of our 10 wells had a failure of the well casing in 2017. We did drill a new well right near it. It's off of Mountain Way in Mars Plains. We did not have the capacity that we had hoped for from that. So we have budgeted for next year to look for another area in the vicinity that we can drill a well and hopefully get the water that we're looking for.
Mm-hmm. And is that on your own land? Do you own these parcels of land?
So
when you source a new well, where do you get
some of them we own, some of them we have easements on.
Mm-hmm.
So we will be first looking at the land that we own or have easements on before we have to look elsewhere.
Okay, good, because I know that Morris Township, and I don't know the rules about using open space for things like this that are important to, run our town. But we have lots of open space, and I don't know how you identify where the largest aquifers are.
We are working with a hydrogeologist for that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good, because one of my concerns is with all the housing that's coming, right, into New Jersey, that there's not going to be enough water supply, let alone within our district. We're only producing 75% right now, and we're relying on 25% from elsewhere, and I'm concerned about overall water supply.
Right, well, that 25%, most of it is the 2.4 million minimum requirement for that contract.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right, but what happens when they run out of the water? That, there's only so much water, right?
Well, contractually, they have to supply up to 6 million gallons a day for us.
Until when? How long does that contract last?
That's in perpetuity, that contract.
Okay. And then relating to the PFAS treatment that you said is coming up, and you said you were going to install 6 plants for that?
No, so...
Or are you going to install 1 at each source?
It's going to be, right now we're in the design phases for a combined treatment of our 2 largest wells. And we're also doing combined treatment design for our next 2 largest wells. So 4 of the wells are being designed treatment right now, and we're combining treatment for those 2, 2 at each facility.
Mm-hmm. So the idea is you're going to treat for the PFAS at the source like you're doing treatment right now.
Yep. Yeah, and eventually all of our wells and the surface water reservoir will include treatment for PFAS.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. My biggest concern is just water supply over time, and if we have enough.
As of right now, we're okay. We're looking good.
We're good.
We're looking good. Okay, very good. Thank you.
Committeeman Jonnada, you have any questions or no?
Yeah. I had a follow-up, Mayor.
Yep.
Mr. Ravitz, you talked about the cost of the replacement of the galvanized and lead. I just want to remind the committee and our residents that the state of New Jersey's regulations requires private water utilities not to charge. It prohibits the private utilities from charging to replace those service lines with the private utilities. Public utilities like SMCMUA are allowed to charge for it. It doesn't prohibit them from charge. It doesn't say they have to charge, but it doesn't prohibit them either. So we have a situation where we could have residents, if they lived in Chatham or parts of Florham Park or in Mendham and they're on New Jersey American Water, they wouldn't be charged for their service line, correct? Is that correct?
They wouldn't be charged the initial cost, but I can guarantee eventually it'll be seen in their rates.
Yes, but everyone's rates are going up too. But like this is a $10,000, $12,000 bill in neighborhoods with people who probably are less able to afford this charge one time than some other residents. So that's been my biggest concern over the years, as you guys are well aware. And that's where I have a lot of issues with. We're following the minimums from the state. We're not going beyond them. We can, but as with that, rates would go up. There is grant funding. Towns and municipalities and utilities get grant to help pay for these. I guess my follow-up question, Drew, I know you guys were talking about it. Did you guys hire a grant writer to try to find funding for some of these projects?
We have not hired a grant writer at this time. We have looked into grants, and the grants that are being offered right now for this are being prioritized to economically burdened areas, which Morris Township does not include.
Is that for the entire service area, or can you apply for grant funding for the specific neighborhoods that are economically burdened? Because we definitely have.
So the state has a map
SMCMUA.
of areas that are
Yeah.
considered economically burdened, none of which were in the township. There was a little pocket in Morristown, but none in the township.
Do they have lead and galvanized in that part in Morristown?
We are still working to identify the unknowns in those areas.
Okay. But again, reminding this committee and our residents that potentially if you lived in Chad or in a different town, you wouldn't be paying a dime for this. You're going to be paying more in rates, but everyone's rates are going up no matter what it is, whether it's gas, electric, cable, internet, everything. But just reminding folks that.
Drew,
Thanks.
have you had anybody yet who could not, that had to have the pipes replaced and have not been able to, even over the quarterly pay?
So there have been customers that I've spoken to that said that they just weren't going to make that type of investment right now. And again, I reiterate to them, it's your personal choice. It's your personal property. You can replace, you can choose not to do so. My recommendation in those scenarios would be run the water for a few minutes till it reaches a steady colder temperature before you use it for drinking or cooking with.
Okay, so I mean, the response is then though, that then they can't get their pipes replaced if they just aren't able to afford it at the time.
There have been customers that said that, yes.
Do you know about how many? I'm just curious.
It
You
would
don't
be
know?
hard now.
And the people who have not yet had you come out to look at their pipes, is that on them to contact the
So we
utility
send
to
out,
come
we
out?
s-
I
we
know
s-
everybody
send out
got-
routine reminders,
Yep.
please. In addition to the annual notification that's required that we send out that your service line is unknown or your service line is lead or galvanized, we also are choosing areas of the system to focus with rave alerts saying, we're requiring you to please call us so that we can make an appointment to come in and identify your service line material.
Okay. All right,
I had another follow-up. So you said so far in Morris Township, how many have been identified?
3,454 lines are not containing lead or galvanized materials. 190 contain galvanized materials and 5 contain lead materials.
Okay.
That's as of today. Now, this is a rolling number. Every day changes. As I said, 28 homes or residents in the township have already replaced their own. So that number every day could go up, could go down. But as of right now, 190 galvanized, 5 lead, 3,454 no lead or galvanized materials, and 4,124 yet to be identified in the township.
And it doesn't matter if it's lead or galvanized, the cost of replacement is the same,
Cost
correct?
is the same, correct? Yeah.
And So that's 8,000 per pop for those 100.
8,000 is for some of the smaller service lines. In Morris Township, you have a lot of longer service lines.
And
Yeah.
you can't sell your house without replacing it, correct? You can't send over the deed. I thought that was part of it.
So it has to be disclosed that you have a letter galvanized line, but I don't know that there's a law prohibiting you from selling your house with a letter galvanized line.
Okay. I thought it was one of the meetings we had a few years ago was there was a 10-year window, and then part of it was that basically it was all going to happen as a closing fee, basically, to sell your house,
Right,
because the
that
next
you would
one person's not going to want to
negotiate
take on, because who's
as
going to buy a
part of
house
it.
with a lead pipe?
And last
So people,
question-
you're going to pay.
Yeah, you know, you're
People are
gonna
going to pay, whether it's an estate or what have you. The residents are paying $10,000 to $12,000 to get to replace these things.
And Drew, what's the annual budget for the whole utility?
You're talking operating plus capital budget or just
Everything.
capital?
Everything that goes into the rate.
So it varies. It is roughly 33 million, I think, for next year. But for the next 6 years, the capital budget varies between 13 million up to 21 million a year. So all of that, the 6-year capital budget gets factored into what the rate increases are going to be every year.
Yeah, so just doing the quick math, you know, if you raised rates by 10%, do you think you could cover all of the replacement lines?
No. So roughly speaking, if you look at, we'll say 195 lines in Morris Township to be replaced at an average of $10,000 a line, you're looking at almost $2 million just for that. Just Morris Township. So 10% raise would not be in line with replacing all the lead and galvanized services. Not to mention, as I mentioned, an estimated $40 million coming up in the next 6 years for PFAS treatment.
Right.
Municipalities do this. We go to bond, put up 10, 20, 30-year bonds to pay for these things. I mean, other counties have done it. Essex County stepped up and replaced all Newark's lines. Morris County can step up to help out too, to help with the financing. But it could happen, but I don't think all 4 towns are in agreement on how SMCMUA should do it. I mean, you guys are doing what you're doing. People are paying out of pocket. Maybe that changes down the road, but people are paying out of pocket now. Won't be able to get any money back for that.
Get that back. Okay, any other comments or questions?
Just one closing comment. Like if you did raise rates 10%, it's, for me, it would be $6 a month, maybe $5 a month. But it would provide a fund going forward to replace service lines or offset the cost of them, maybe half price instead of full price. And I agree with Mr. Gyorfy. It's something that I think the utility should be absorbing on behalf of the community. There's a lot of things that we pay for as a community that everybody doesn't use. And I view this as one of those examples, right? We pay for public schools for only a handful of people that, you know, not a handful, but a certain percentage of the public that uses the public schools, right? And there's example after example. And I think if we raised rates and subsidize certain people or subsidize the replacement, I think that would be for the better of the entire public, is my opinion. Thank you.
Okay, well, again, thank you very much for coming in, and we do realize, you know, you're working hard trying to do everything you can, but I'm happy to have you come in and hope that you'll take our feedback and really consider what the hardship it is on the towns, and especially to our residents that have to replace these pipes. So thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Dr. Gilmer, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
This evening, we have one ordinance scheduled for public hearing and adoption. Madam Clerk, please read the title of ordinance 26-25 into the record, after which we will open the public hearing.
Ordinance 26-25, amending Chapter 410, Sewers and Sewage Disposal of the Code of the Township of Morris. Note, sewer service fee and connection fee for 2026 through 2030.
We will take comments from in-person attendees first, and then we'll switch over to Zoom. Please raise your hand on Zoom if you would like to speak. May I have a motion to open the public hearing on ordinance 26-25?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Seeing no hands raised, can I please have a motion to close public comment
So
on
moved.
ordinance 26-25? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 26-25?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion or any questions? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote?
Mr. Grayzel,
Yes.
Mr. Jonnada,
Yes.
Mr. Gyorfy.
Yes.
Mr. Ravitz.
Yes.
Mayor Griglia.
Yes. I, Donna J. Guariglia, Mayor, declare ordinance number 26-25 approved and adopted, and direct the Township Clerk to publish proper notice thereof in the official newspaper. We have two ordinances for introduction on tonight's agenda. Madam Clerk, please read the title of ordinance 27-25 into the record.
Ordinance 27-25, an ordinance amending Chapter 88 entitled Vehicle and Traffic, Article 2A, Section 88-2A.2, and Schedule 2, handicap parking spaces. Note, removes a designated handicap parking space at 15 Emmett Ave.
May I have a motion to introduce ordinance number 27-25?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion or any questions? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote?
Mr. Ravitz.
Yes.
Mr. Jonnada,
Yes.
Mr. Grayzel,
Yes.
Mr. Gyorfy.
Yes.
And Mayor Griglia.
Yes. The public hearing and final consideration and adoption of ordinance 27-25 will be held at the next regular Township Committee meeting on December 17th, 2025 at 7 p.m. Madam Clerk, please read the title of ordinance 28-25 into the record.
28-25, an ordinance of the Township Committee of the Township of Morris, amending Chapter 88 entitled Vehicles and Traffic, adding Article 23, Bicycles and Scooters. Note, regulates use of bicycles, scooters, and e-bikes.
May I have a motion to introduce ordinance number 28-25?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion or any questions? Madam Clerk, may I have a roll
I
call
just
vote?
had
Oh,
one.
I'm sorry.
I just wanted one comment. This was something that the Transportation Advisory Council the committee had been discussing for months, and I'm glad to see that we're having this ordinance because of all the safety concerns that have been in the news and all over the state and all over the country, and glad that's been introduced. And we encourage the public to make comments on this now and into the next meeting. Thanks.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote?
Mr. Gyorfy.
Yes.
Mr. Jonnada,
Yes.
Mr. Grayzel,
Yes.
Mr. Ravitz.
Yes.
Mayor Griglia.
Yes. The public hearing and final consideration and adoption of ordinance number 28-25 will be held at the next regular Township Committee meeting on Wednesday, December 17th at 7 p.m. We have 11 resolutions on tonight's agenda. May I have a motion to approve resolutions number 239-25 through 249-25 by one motion?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote?
Mr. Gyorfy.
Yes.
Mr. Ravitz.
Yes.
Mr. Grayzel,
Yes.
Mr. Jonnada,
Yes.
Mayor Griglia.
Yes. We have 4 items on the consent calendar this evening. May I have a motion to approve both items on the consent calendar by one motion?
3 items, right?
There's 4.
Oh, 4. I'm
So moved.
sorry.
Page over.
Thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The following reports are on record with the Township Clerk and the Township Administrator. September 2025, Police and Joint Court. October 2025, the Library and Tax Collector. May I have a motion to approve the monthly reports?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Claims for payment and the list of bills and vouchers. The total amount of bills and vouchers for this meeting is $14,935,743.17. We are also the tax collector for the school district, the library, and the county. May I have a motion to approve the list of bills and vouchers?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote?
Mr. Jonnada,
Yes.
Mr. Gyorfy.
Yes.
Mr. Grayzel,
Yes.
Mr. Ravitz.
Yes.
Mayor Griglia.
Yes. We'll now have our standing committee reports and general commentary from each member of the Township Committee, and we'll begin with Committeeman Jonnada.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. First, I want to congratulate Deputy Mayor Jeff Grayzel on his recent re-election victory. And I want to congratulate our Congresswoman, and soon-to-be former Congressman, Mikey Sherrill, as Governor-elect of New Jersey. He had been a very effective representative for us in the township and Congressional District 11 as a whole. And we all look forward to working with her and her staff as governor. And congratulations to Assemblywoman Nora Dunn on her re-election, as well as to Marissa Sweeney for her election as our new Assemblywoman to LD 25. The township will be well represented with these two women. I also want to thank the candidates who were defeated for running for office. It takes courage to put your name out there and to give voters a choice. Voting is the ultimate example of democracy in action. And on to the committee reports. As I mentioned, I'm thankful that the ordinance on e-bikes and e-scooters has been introduced, and since there needs to be regulation for this for everyone's safety. Also, I'm saddened to hear that Betty Simmons will be resigning from TAC. She had been an asset for the group since its existence. I'm thankful to have known her and hope she will provide advice in the future. And the Environmental Commission, we had our Sustainable Landscaping Forum right here, hosted by the Morris Township on October 28th, which has been a huge success. About 90 people came in person. It was hosted by Charlie Schachter and Brian Morgan. 5 panelists spoke on different aspects of the sustainable landscaping. The recording and slide decks have been shared on the Environmental Commission page on the Township website. And Morris Township has officially achieved Sustainable Jersey Bronze with 250 points. I will be attending a luncheon next week at League of Municipality Conference in Atlantic City, along with EC members Barb Buddha and Kathleen Horahan. And yesterday we commemorated Veterans Day this past Tuesday, both at Township Town Hall and Morristown Green. And tomorrow there will be a groundbreaking ceremony at Frelinghuysen Arboretum for the Veterans Valor Garden to help veterans and others suffering from PTSD and other ailments. And on Saturday, November 15th at 1 p.m., the Jockey Hollow chapter of the Sons of the American Revolution will be dedicating a Liberty Tree at Burnham Park in Morristown. I will be one of the speakers representing Burnham Park Association. So if anybody's interested, please come and join. And a few months ago, I talked about the 200th anniversary of the Erie Canal. October 26th was the commemoration of that completion of the canal. A replica of the Seneca Chief boat, first canal boat, traveled from Buffalo to New York Harbor with water from Lake Erie and other parts of the canal were poured into trees at Battery Park and Liberty State Park. This is replicating the marriage of the waters performed by Governor DeWitt Clinton back in 1825. Northern New Jersey had its own canal system, the Morris Canal. It was built from 1824 to 1831. It transported anthracite coal from Pennsylvania to New York City. It was founded by George McCulloch of McCulloch Hall fame. It was originally supposed to go through Morristown using the Whippany River, but the terrain was difficult to build, so the canal was built north of town along the Rockaway and the northern portion of the Passaic. The canal statistics says it was 102 miles long. It started in Phillipsburg and ended in Jersey City, where Liberty State Park is now located, if one wants to know. Lake Apacong was created by damming 2 ponds, the Great Pond and Little Pond, and became the major water source for the canal. So the Morris Canal, Lake Apacong, is in existence because of the Morris Canal. It used a lock system similar to the Erie Canal, but it also used inclined planes where boats were replaced in a cradle car then pulled by cables. Those inclined planes are still in use in Europe if one wants to see one. Peak canal usage was in the 1860s until railroads eventually supplanted it, and it declined completely by the 1900s and closed in 1924, 100 years after its inception. Much of the canal was expanded, water was drained, bridges and locks were abandoned and demolished. But parts have now been preserved as Morris Canal Greenway, and visitors can still see the preserved remnants, and as well as picking up pieces of anthracite coal that can still be found along the canal towpaths. Thank you.
Thank you. Committeeman Gyorfy.
Thank you, Mayor, and congratulations, Deputy Mayor, on your reelection. Not only on your margin, but quite frankly, a lot of residents were nasty and mistreated you in public and in private. And you didn't bat an eye to that, and I respect that. When they went low, you did not go low. You went high, or you stayed steady. But congratulations, because
You ignored it.
yeah, no, seriously, like personal attacks and just like vitriol, just going to your personal inbox randomly throughout the entire campaign. So congratulations to you on your victory, and no one deserves that sort of treatment. For shared services, Committeeman Ravitz, myself, Chief Nunn, Lieutenant Cornine from the Fire Department, and Michael, I forget his last name, from Madison, from the mechanic of the DPW, traveled to Paramus DPW with the Department of Community Affairs from the state of New Jersey to tour their DPW facility. Paramus DPW has over 45 shared service agreements for maintenance for vehicles. Paramus takes in over $1 million a year in profit from this facility. So they service fire apparatus, DPW vehicles, police vehicles, you name it. They even service vehicles for the county of Bergen. So I think the most surprising thing, aside from how many towns are sending their vehicles there, is the fact that they did this all just naturally and organically without any support from the county or state government. They're still in their original facility. They never expanded. They don't have enough room to expand, but they have figured out a way to get 13 mechanics on board. They used to have 19. They're starting apprenticeship programs. They're really just a testament to what good government can do. And I've, for the past few years since I was mayor, been working with the fire chief, Mr. Quinn, and neighboring towns to try to start something at a much smaller scale here in Morris Township to satisfy a very specific need for our local fire departments, and that is to hire trained, certified mechanics, which are very hard to find, to work on electrical equipment, pumps, etc. There's state funding out there, and to not only help with the initial costs, the startup costs, but also to buy permanent equipment. And I know the chief has said time and time again, we have space to start servicing some vehicles here in Morris Township. We used to have a mechanic based at fire headquarters for years and years. So it was an eye-opening experience. I'm hoping that Chief Nunn can continue working with the local chiefs to find an opportunity where we, even if we just find one town who wants to go in on this to try to save ourselves some money, it would go a long way. Secondly, we just talked to the water utility, but I know most of us on this dais know, but I've continuously been frustrated with our water utility, again, for probably 3 years since I was mayor. For 2 years, I had worked with mayors Daugherty, Carr, and Gallagher with the water utility for the past several years, trying to find a solution to replacing these lead and galvanized pipes. And year after year after year, the water utility has resisted our calls for them to take on the burden of replacing these water lines. For people have no fault of their own. They didn't buy their house knowing they had galvanized pipe that was going to somehow need to be replaced because of some regulation that was promulgated by the state years later. And I don't think it's fair that residents who might not have the means have to shell out $10,000 to $12,000 to replace these lines. Especially given the fact that if you're in a town with a private water service, you don't have to pay a dime for that. And yes, obviously the ratepayers are going to take on that burden, but the ratepayers are the taxpayers. They're taking on the burden to pay for parks that their kids don't play at. They're paying for the burden of providing senior services. If they're a young person, they don't use that. So again, I continuously have been disappointed. They're doing the bare minimum that the state requires, and I never think that doing the bare minimum is a good thing. And I encourage the utility, I encourage our board members to ask for more. to find grant writers to try to bring some money in to help replace these service lines. $2 million to replace the lines of Morris Township. That's not a lot of money for a government or a public utility to pay for. They can do this right now. They can go to bond right now to prevent someone who maybe makes minimum wage or less, or is living off of Medicare and Social Security, to replace their line. So I'm, again, continue to be frustrated. I have concerns that the board of SMCMUA has forgotten that they represent the residents, not the water utility. That continues to be a problem there. And I think it's time for the Township Committee and our neighboring towns to finally do something about it. Mayor, I'll yield back. Thank you.
Thank you. Committeeman Ravitz.
Thank you, Mayor. You like to say that by the time it comes around to you, there's
I
nothing
know,
left to,
it's happening,
nothing left
it's
to
earlier,
report.
right? Now it's
And I got
happening
to
to
say,
everybody.
between Mr. Jonnada and Mr. Gyorfy, they pretty much said it all. I mean, I concur with all of that. Congratulations on a great victory.
Right.
What am I going to say? It's the same thing. Also, congratulations to Mikey, Cheryl, and all the winners. And as Committeeman Jonnada said, for those folks who came up a little short, it's, as all of us up here know, it takes a lot to put yourself out there and to public scrutiny and run an election, and it's not easy. So kudos to all those folks whose name is on the ballot but came up short, and also, of course, congratulations to the winners. Real quick, I don't want to take up a lot of time. The Parks and Rec winter brochure is out. It should have been mailed to all residents of the township. We have extra copies here. We also have our holiday lights contest coming up, so please visit the Parks and Rec website for details. And just real quickly, because I didn't post anything about Veterans Day on social media, but I did want to recognize the Veterans Day. So on each November 11th, we pause as a nation to honor the men and women who wore the uniform of the United States. Veterans Day is more than a holiday. It's a moment of gratitude, reflection, and promise. It's a reminder that the freedoms we so often take for granted were bought with courage, duty, and sacrifice. And now, we honor those who served in times of war and peace, those who came home to build their lives again, and those who never returned. Their service reminds us that patriotism isn't measured by words. Their service, isn't measured by words, but their willingness to stand for something greater than themselves. Our veterans carried the weight of defending democracy so that we can live under its protection. The best way we can repay them is not just with parades and ceremonies, but with our actions, by striving every day to build a nation worthy of their sacrifice. So on Veterans Days, let us all commit to be the kind of American our honored veterans fought and sacrificed for, citizens who cherish freedom, protect justice, and look out for one another. That is how we truly honor their service. And on that, I wish everybody a safe and happy Thanksgiving season. I always personally raise a glass to absent friends and family because it's proper that we honor them by thinking of them. And lastly, as you go about your day, please remember to be kind to yourself, kind to others, because it can make a big difference in somebody's life. Thank you. Mayor?
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Grayzel.
Thank you. I've had a bit of laryngitis the last week, so I'm going to keep my remarks short. But first, I would like to thank everybody up here, and I assume I'm going to get congratulations from the mayor as well. Thank you for all your congratulations here. Thank you for the member of the audience who congratulated me, and Mr. Quillen, and thank you to everybody who has congratulated me on email and other ways. I am honored once again to serve the community. It's been an honor for 12 years now, and I look forward to continuing my commitment to everybody here in Morris Township. But I also want to say I'm honored to serve with all of the rest of my colleagues up here on the dais. You do a fine job, and honored to sit up here with all of you. Again, for another term. I will say ditto to Mr. Gyorfy's comments regarding SMCMUA and what they should be doing to step up on behalf of our residents. I gave an example. You gave a few examples how communities share in costs in different ways, and some of us use those services and some of us don't. But we all step up as a community to help each other out and pay for things that we might not use because we're all part of this bigger community and we're in it for the greater good. And I agree that SMCMUA should be stepping up and raising rates in order to supplement or fully pay for the service lines. I'll ditto what Mr. Ravitz said about Veterans Day. I won't go into it, but it was a beautiful ceremony. The mayor gave a beautiful speech. Thank you for that.
Thanks.
And I was at EDAC last night along with the mayor, but I'm going to let you speak about
Okay,
it so that you have something to talk about.
Good. It is my one thing at the top of the page.
Exactly.
Thank
So
you, Deputy
I'll
Deputy Mayor Grayzel.
Thank you.
So yeah, just on my updates first on EDAC. We did have a meeting. It was our last meeting of the year last night. So a couple things. One, for those of you who didn't know that One Paw Away opened up, which is a great if you have furry little friends. It's over on South Street, and it's a beautiful facility now for your pets, and especially it's like a spa there. It's beautiful. If you walk through it, you would like to stay there yourself if you could. We did have two presentations at EDAC last night. One was from Shop Morris County, and the other was from Last Mile Investments, who own the marketplace. So they came in on Zoom, which was nice of them to join us. And we talked a lot about how we can work together to create small business events and share resources. And Shop Morris County already works with some of the municipalities in our area. And that's something else that we're going to look to, because we're all continuing to look to promote small business here in Morris Township. We also talked about, too, one of the things I think we'll all be looking at, but especially on the Economic Development Advisory Committee, is the upcoming 2026 250th celebration. So we're going to try to come up with some things that we can help businesses celebrate there, and especially as the World Cup will be coming in 2026 to our area. So exciting things there. Again, we've pretty much covered TAC. The only other thing about the seniors, I'd like to let everybody know that our health department here is doing Eating Healthy as We Age on November 19th at 1 o'clock right here at Town Hall. That's something that you should all attend, the seniors, if they can. Again, Deputy Mayor Grayzel, I would like to offer my congratulations in your resounding win. And what I love, Mr. Quillen, is that if that's true that you won in every district, I think that's such a great message to show that in the township, not only the good job that you're doing, but as you said, as we share this commitment to our township, it's nice to see that. So congratulations on that. That's probably a first, I bet.
I think it's a first, yes.
Yeah, so that's exciting. Again, my congratulations to Governor-elect Mikey Sherrill. That's another very exciting. I think we're all in good hands. And again, to see the wins that took place in the state of New Jersey, and all those who went out, everybody who chose to run, if they won their election, I think this was a year that everybody came out and really let people know what their feelings were and how they were feeling about not only what was going on in the country, but right here in New Jersey. So the election showed that. They show that when people come out, they make a difference and they send a message. Again, we've talked about Veterans Day and the Healing Garden. I do want to, the Winter Farmers Market opens on December 7th. Please, everybody, try to go to that as often as you can. It's one of the best ones around. And another little tidbit, I always, it's interesting that I look certain things up, and today was actually Chicken Soup for the Soul Day, which are these silly things that they come up with. But I hope everybody out there, if you didn't have chicken soup, maybe you should have a bowl. So it'll be good for your soul. And the last thing I have too is just happy Thanksgiving to all of our residents, and hope that you have a great holiday. That being said, one of the other things I did want to, we skipped over, received for the record, we did have 2 tax appeals. We will now go to our second public commentary. There are actually 2 members joining us on Zoom and 1 still here in person. We will first take comments from in person and then we'll go to Zoom. Please raise your hand on Zoom if you would like to speak. Please state your name and whether or not you're a resident. And then please note that your comments are limited to 5 minutes. If you have questions you would like answered, your remaining time to speak will be yielded back. Is there a motion to open public comment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Quillen?
I'm George Quillen from 9 Barbary Road, and I have a problem with my voice today too, like Deputy Mayor Grayzel. So I had a couple of things I wanted to say. First of all, I happened to be watching C-SPAN this afternoon. I was looking for the debate in the House about the shutdown bill, and I just happened to be watching when Mikey Sherrill got up and said, I am going to be resigning next week, and this is my last speech on the floor of this chamber. So that was an interesting moment. So that happened about 5 o'clock this afternoon. I wanted to tell you about the ordinance that you introduced on bicycles and scooters. I read that quickly today and I found what I think is a typo or just an editorial change that needs to be made. There was one place where the township was referred to as a borough. I think that the document may have been in part copied from someone else's in another town. So that if you search for the word borough, I think you'll find that. I wondered why the ordinance needed to be so long. It referred to a New Jersey ordinance, which I did not look up, and said New Jersey ordinance would, of course, govern to the extent that there's any conflict between this ordinance and the New Jersey ordinance. But it wasn't clear the level of detail in the New Jersey ordinance. But anyway, everything that I saw in there looked completely reasonable. And I'm glad that we're going to have all these rules in the township, whether they come from the state or from local government. And then finally, I wanted to say, I'm going to be going home and looking at the labels on my Brita filters to see if they are NSF 53. I thought that was a question that the representative from SMCMUA should have been able to answer more completely. And I agree with the comments made about the fact that it seems like SMCMUA may not be sufficiently receptive to comments from what should be its governing bodies, right? So you folks, plus your counterparts in the other 3 towns, should be in charge of what's happening at SMCMUA, at least over time, through your appointments. And I don't know what to say about what's happening there, but it seems like some changes may be needed. So that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no hands raised, is there a motion to close public comment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The time is now 8:22. May I have a motion to adjourn the regular session?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The next regular Township Committee meeting will be Wednesday, December 17th, 2025 at 7 p.m. The regular meeting, 5:30, will be closed and it will be held in the Municipal Building, 50 Woodland Avenue. Thank you and have a great night.